Remember when the front door was always unlocked? When kids came home from school, dumped their books, and were gone again before dinner. No phone call, no GPS tracker, just a shout down the street to let folks know where they be. There was a time when parenting didn't come with a manual, a screen, or 1,000 worries. Just common sense, a firm hand, and a few golden rules passed down from generation to generation. Back then, families didn't need parenting blogs or experts on child psychology. They had grandma's advice, a strong sense of duty, and a few ironclad rules that every kid knew by heart. Some might seem strict today, others downright unthinkable, but they shaped a generation. Kids who learned responsibility, respect, and how to ride a bike without a helmet. Today, we're flipping through the old family photo album of childhood, looking back at 10 old school parenting rules that don't exist anymore. So grab a glass of lemonade, settle into your porch swing, and let's take a trip down memory lane. Go outside and don't come back until dinner time. You know that moment? The screen door slams, the sun is high, and your mom yells in the kitchen, "Go play." That was the official start of summer, winter, or any day with decent weather. No plans, no schedule, just freedom. Kids would vanish for hours, building forts, riding bikes, climbing trees, or just wander the neighborhood like tiny explorers. There were no playdates, no apps to check in, and certainly no parents following behind with water bottles and sunscreen. This rule worked because neighborhoods felt safer. Everyone knew each other. The mailman waved. The crossing guard knew your name. And if you got into trouble, someone's mom would call your mom before you even got home. But over time, the world changed. News stories made parents more fearful. Strangers became threats. And with the rise of video games and smartphones, the outside world just didn't seem as exciting. Now, kids are scheduled from morning to night. Soccer, piano, tutoring, therapy. Free play? It's a luxury. But back then, it was just Tuesday. That simple rule. Go outside and don't come back until dinner time. Taught independence, creativity, and how to settle your own arguments. You learned to make your own fun. And when the streetlights came on, that was your curfew. The days when the whole world was your backyard. If you're going out, you're on your own. No cell phones, no texting, no way to reach your kid once they left the house. And strangely, that was perfectly okay. If you went to park, the arcade, or a friend's house, you were on your own until you walked back to the front door. No check-ins. No, where are you? Calls. Just trust. Parents believed you'd be safe, you'd be smart, and you'd come home when you were supposed to. If you didn't, well, you'd hear about it later. But the rule was simple. Once you left, you were responsible for yourself. This taught kids early how to navigate the world, how to read bus schedules, how to ask for help, how to say no. It built confidence. But today, with GPS and FaceTime, that kind of trust feels risky. We track our kids like packages. And while it keeps them safe, it also keeps them dependent. There was a quiet strength in that old rule. It said, I believe you can handle this. And most of the time, we did. You eat what's on your plate, no exceptions. Dinner was a negotiation. It was a mission. And surrender was not an option. You sat down, you were served, and you ate, whether it was liver and onions, canned peas, or mystery meat from the school cafeteria leftovers. No special meals. No, I don't like it. Just eat. Parents didn't cook 3 different dinners. They didn't cater to picky eaters. They remembered the Depression, wartime rations, and the value of food. Wasting it, that was unthinkable. So you learned to chew, swallow, and maybe even grow to like it, or at least survive it. But today, kids have menus, snack drawers, allergies, diets. Parents blend, steam, and reinvent meals just to get a bite in. We've traded the clean plate club for food freedom. And while it's kinder to sensitive palates, something was lost in that old rule: gratitude, respect for the meal, and the understanding that you don't always get what you want. Respect your elders, no matter what. This wasn't just a rule. It was a way of life. You didn't talk back. You didn't roll your eyes. You stood up when an adult entered the room. You said, "Yes, ma'am," and "No, sir." Teachers, neighbors, aunts, uncles, anyone older than you deserved respect simply because they were older. It wasn't about being liked. It was about being decent. This rule came from a culture that valued hierarchy, tradition, and manners. Kids weren't seen as little adults. They were learners. And adults were the guides. Now, we encourage kids to speak up, question authority, and express themselves, which is good when balanced. But sometimes that old rule of silent respect kept chaos at bay. It taught humility. It kept families polite. And it meant that when grandma said, "Sit up straight," you sat up straight. No debate, no drama, just respect. If you break it, you fix it, or pay for it. You borrowed your dad's lawnmower. You cracked a headlight on the family car backing out. You shattered a window playing baseball in the yard. And then came the moment of truth. No insurance claims. No accidents happen. You faced the music. And then you paid. With chores. With allowance. With summer jobs. This rule taught accountability fast. You learned that actions have consequences. And that replacing something costs real money and real effort. Parents didn't rush to rescue. They let you sweat it out. Today, many kids are shielded from consequences. Parents fix things, apologize for them, or just buy a new one. But back then, that busted taillight followed you like a ghost until you'd earn enough mowing lawns to make it right. There was honor in that, and pride, too, because when you paid it off, you walked a little taller. No electronics at the table, not because of a rule, really. It's just there were no electronics. The TV was in the living room. The phone was on the wall. And dinner? Dinner was for talking. Families sat down together. No screens, no scrolling, no distractions. You looked at each other. You shared your day. You listened. Even if it was just, school was fine, it was still connection. Today, kids eat with headphones in. Parents check work emails. And the dinner table feels more like a pit stop than a gathering place. That old rule, unspoken but firm, kept families close. It made space for stories, laughter, and the occasional lecture about chewing with your mouth closed. Simple, quiet, human, and maybe something we could bring back. You share a room, and that's final. One bathroom, 2 or 3 kids, and bedrooms that held siblings like sardines in a can. No, I need my space. No designer bedrooms with mood lighting and beanbag chairs. You shared a room, maybe a bed, and you made it work. You learned to sleep through snoring, midnight giggles, and the occasional pillow fight. You learned to compromise, to keep your side clean, to borrow clothes, and sometimes get away with it. And in that cramped space, something special happened. You became allies, confidants, partners in crime. Now, many kids have their own rooms, sometimes even their own TVs and bathrooms. It's comfortable, but it's lonely. That old rule didn't just save space. It built bonds. You walked to school, rain or shine. No school buses for short distances. No parent drop-offs. Just good shoes, a backpack, and the open road. Kids walked, sometimes a mile or more, through snow, rain, or blistering heat. No complaints. No apps to track the route. Just the rhythm of footsteps and the company of friends. You saw your neighborhood. You waved Mr. Jenkins feeding his birds. You raced to beat the mail truck. It was exercise. It was freedom. It was routine. But as traffic grew and fears rose, walking faded. Now, many kids are driven everywhere, even to the corner store. We traded steps for safety, but lost a little independence along the way. Chores were non-negotiable. You didn't get paid to take out the trash. You didn't negotiate for screen time. You just did it. Mowing the lawn, washing dishes, feeding the dog, folding laundry. These weren't jobs. They were duties. Every kid had a role. And if you didn't do it, you heard about it at dinner. This wasn't about earning allowance. It was about being part of the family, pulling your weight, learning how to live in a home. Now, many chores come with rewards. Clean your room, and you can watch Netflix. But back then, the reward was simpler. You were a responsible member of the household, and that was enough. Children are seen, not heard, at family dinners, church meetings, adult parties. Kids were expected to be quiet, polite, unobtrusive. You didn't interrupt. You didn't whine. You didn't demand attention. You sat, you listened, and you waited your turn. It sounds harsh now, but in its time, it taught patience, observation, and self-control. Kids learned to read the room, to behave in public, to understand that the world didn't revolve around them. Today, we celebrate kids' voices. We want them to speak up, share feelings, and be heard. And that's beautiful. But maybe, just maybe, we could blend the two. Let them speak, but also teach them when to listen. Because sometimes, the quiet ones notice the most. These old rules may seem strict, even strange by today's standards, but they came from a time when life moved a little slower, families stayed close, and kids grew up with a sense of duty, grit, and freedom all at once. We don't have to bring back every rule, but maybe we can borrow a few lessons from the days when dinner time meant connection, chores meant pride, and the whole neighborhood helped raise a child. What old school rule do you remember most? Did your parents make you eat everything on your plate? Walk to school in the snow? Share a room with 3 siblings? Drop your stories in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss another chapter in nostalgic America. Until next time, keep the memories alive.